To address the question of whether autistic children process the meaning of words, you would most likely want to employ a functional neuroimaging technique. And one way to do this is to use functional imaging as a marker of having engaged meaning-related processes. You could borrow knowledge from the existing literature about which regions of the brain are thought to be particularly important for the processing of meaning. And one brain region that seems to be close related to semantic processing is the left inferior frontal gyrus. You could employ fMRI or PET or indeed optical imaging to measure aspects of activity in the left inferior frontal gyrus and see whether autistic children elicit that activity. If they do, and indeed it is an appropriate marker for semantic related processing, then you could argue that autistic children indeed do process the meaning of words. You could also employ EEG or MEG though. Within those techniques, there are also markers of meaning-related processes, and notably the N400 component of the event-related potential is thought to be closely related to the processing of meaning. You could see whether autistic children elicit the N400. If they do, then perhaps they do process the meaning of words. When choosing which technique to use, one important consideration is the age range of the children in your samples. Very young children, and indeed women, would not be suitable for PET scanning, for example. It might also be that EEG and optical imaging would be more comfortable for children than fMRI. Now, finally, you do not need neuroimaging to address this question. So, neuroimaging is not the answer to all the questions. You could design a fairly simple psychological task that taps into the processing of meaning. So, for example, you could compare words and non-words or different kinds of words. And you could see whether autistic children behave differently to these different types of letter strings. And on the basis of the outcome, you could make an argument about whether or not they process the meaning of words.